Hello everybody, Jose Rodriguez here. I was asked this question and also I discussed it with a couple of folks who sell third-party inks. You may know who those might be. And there was a certain level of concern because these inks that are being sold to you as a, for example, a set for the Pro 1000 or a set for the Pro 10 or the P800, whatever the case may be, could be an Epson P600, 400, whatever. These ink sets come already prepared from a laboratory. We have a couple of those here in the US, and then there's a myriad of other very low quality ones from China. How do you know that the inks that I buy for the Pro 10, P800, P600 today will be the same exact ink set that I buy, say, next year? You just really do not know. You are relying on the fact that the laboratories that create these inks are able to continue to buy the same raw products from which they create these inks from. Okay, so that would be dyes, that would be pigments, that would be the chemicals that are used to create the basic clear dye or pigment based ink, the biocides that are used to prevent any kind of bacterial growth. Yeah, many things, many variables involve the production of inks for what we love to do, which is photo printing. So that got me thinking about the consistency of possible, say for instance, even the ink sets for the Pro 1000. The signature edition for the Pro 1000 relies on 4 OEM inks. I am sure that Canon has access, believe me, and is able to produce consistent batches. But you know what? That's one of the reasons we have internal calibration, to take into account any slight differences between a batch today and a batch next year. Well, to put things even in a worse situation, we are using 8 third-party inks and 4 OEM inks. So we're mixing sort of what someone might call a hybrid ink set. Now, I'm trying to use as much OEM across the board as I possibly can, but a lot of you who buy these particular inks, specifically these right here, you may be getting the 8 plus 4. And again, you're relying on the ability for the labs that create the inks for Precisioncolors to sell, or Ink Owl to sell, or any other company out there to sell, that they are producing the same exact batch. Quality control comes into play. Okay, the magenta has to be exactly the same as last year's magenta, whether it is next year, the year after that, the year after that, and so on, because all of these ink sets, as people may not realize, the colors have to be matched. They have to mesh together and work together to produce the best quality results that your print engine and whatever printer you're using expects to get, so that it can do its job in the mixing of just a few colors to allow you to create an image, or a print that is, that may contain up to 16 million different shades and hues and colors. Yeah, that's how many you can technically produce on a print, on a modern type printer. So I, at this point, probably would not worry too much, because any slight differences that may occur can be handled by custom profiling, and that will bring you sort of in line again. But I just had to bring this up because, again, discussing it with a couple of people who are in the business of selling third-party inks, that's one of those things that brings terror to their minds. That's the last thing they want to do, to not be able to provide the customer with something today that'll be the same thing next year and the year after that, so that you have complete consistency. Otherwise, you have to be constantly adjusting, constantly creating new profiles to fit and take care of any kind of differences or discrepancies in the output of a given ink set, even though it's supposed to be the same ink set. They really do not have much control in the availability of the raw products, meaning the actual dry pigments that are used to create these inks. Yeah. A lot of these companies, depending how big they are actually grinding their own pigments to the correct diameter particles. Yeah, it takes a lot of work to do that. I know that OCP in Germany, the biggest ink maker in Germany, does have that kind of capabilities. Okay, I don't know about other smaller companies, but again, that would be something that I would have to think. Say, for instance, I'm a production lab and I'm creating posters for advertisers that require perfect matching of their logo colors. Oh, that would scare me half to death if I had to worry about ink inconsistencies per batch. All right, think about that. Tell me what you think. I really don't worry too much about it because, again, I'm only printing photos for my own pleasure. But anyway, some other people may not be. And that may be something that they would have to then take into consideration. Again, I don't want to get too serious about this, but I just thought I would bring it out to you guys to discuss among yourselves. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think about that. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. And happy printing, everybody. Bye-bye.